a path for non-tech professionals. Dr. Namdi, describe in terms of the people who are listening what non-tech professionals are and who does this apply to the term?
So non-technical professionals means you are not technical, that you've not worked um in a technical role specializing. So it doesn't a lot of people that it's always confusing to define who a non-technical professional is sometimes because you're thinking, okay, some people have worked in technical roles but don't have a technical background, right? So there are two different aspects there. But the person who I really talking to is a person who you've not done anything, you've not held a role in the tech space before. You've not, or maybe you're in the tech space, but you've not necessarily had to work on any of the platforms. So you're not a SQL Server person, you're not proficient in Java or C# or any of .NET frameworks. Anything I'm saying sounds like Greek. You are non-technical, right? You've not done anything with C#, you've not done anything with Python. You've like all of those things. Python is a snake to you. Those that is a non-technical person. You've not built a website. It's and some people will still maybe have done things like build a website or even do some app development, but are still under the non-tech. Because there's a lot of UI platforms now that will let you do basic technical stuff, app developments, landing page creates, and won't necessarily fall under like a technical career. So, if you've not held a position, a technical role within an organization, and you don't get to use any of those tech platforms on a regular basis, then you probably fall under that, non-technical professional. And the reason why we cater to those people just to jump in is those are the people who come to us a lot, who are looking to get into database administration. There are people who are coming from accounting, or they are familiar with computers, they are familiar with their platforms that they use, right? It's the people who were bankers before, maybe from Nigeria, and now they're here and they're looking to transition into the American workforce. There are even people from here who are trying to transition into tech to make more money. Who are coming from maybe some medical careers, medical CNAs, dental assistants, those type of people. That's what they've been doing, but now they want the freedom and flexibility that comes with working in tech. So non-technical is not a bad thing. It's just you've not been exposed to this line of work, basically.
Okay, okay. So for this non-tech groups, what about why should they consider a DBA career since it's one of our database administration?
So a career in database administration, there's a lot of benefits to it, right? So I think last week we kind of got into who is a database administrator, what exactly it is to do. One of the benefits of, people want to get into tech. Let's start from there. A lot because of the prospects and flexibility. Those are the two core things people are looking at. Like, I can make good money and I can work from home. For the most part, that work-life balance and not having to, kill yourself, make good money while having flexibility to not have to deal with Atlanta traffic or those kind of things. Right. So people dig that idea. And that's a benefit. Right now, database specifically has even higher tier benefits because you are a critical part of a business, right? Every business is driven by data. Every business leaves the lifeblood of every business, regardless of what they do, is the data. So with that means you're in a space where you are relevant. You're not just doing stuff, but what we do actually has direct impact on business revenue, on the direction the business goes, or on, so what we're doing is significant to every business. So you get to do meaningful work, but all that does is also some level of job security, right? So you can have like a long career. It's not database administration is not like where some people go and learn a tool because there's opportunities there. Like for example, when people went to learn Epic, right? And there was the rave and everybody got on Epic and made some money. But then that pool dried up, right? So because Epic is a tool, database administration is a career path. It's different, right? Because even if the technology changes, even if the tool we use can be different, but that part is always going to be there. So for me as a database administrator, for example, let's say Microsoft SQL Server is not it's not the thing anymore. There's another player that comes to the market. Let's say Elon Musk creates his own database management platform that is, guess what I'll do? Learn that one. Because at the core, the concepts are going to be the same. Like if you look at Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, DB2, Postgres, all of those things are all based on SQL, right? The architecture on how these things run, the all of it is all, there's some general SQL standard. And so you see concepts are similar. Oracle has disaster recovery. Oracle has high availability. Oracle does performance tuning. Same with MySQL. Same with DB2. So if you know one now, there might be some differences in the terminologies and command line things, really, necessary command lines. But for the most part, it's if you understand one, transitioning to another will be different. So you have a lane where you always have stuff to do. And that's why we advocate for database administration, and we can get you there. That's why we talk about it. So yeah, that's why database administration.
Okay, those are the many benefits of database administration. So in terms of learning database administration, how much would you say are the requirements? How much would you have to know? How much would you have to get in touch with to get, started on your database administration part?
It depends on where you're starting from, right? So we cater to you from zero to expert in a sense here at Enstar Technologies, right? But when we're talking generally now to somebody who may never come to Enstar, right? Starting their DBA career, there's different ways to go about it. So let me start with the easiest route, or the people who have it the easiest. You're already in tech, but you want to get into, let's say you're already in help desk support, you're doing you're working in a NOC, network operating center for business for an organization, so you're monitoring, or you're doing help desk support, or you're doing some hardware, hardware installation, those type of things. You're already familiar with the fundamentals of IT. So language is not going to be new for you. You're not things like IP address and ping, those are not new to you. Memory and storage and processor, using those languages is not foreign for you. Understanding performance and some looking at parameters, those are not new to you. So for somebody in that space, the learning curve is not as steep, right? So we've had very few of those who come to us, and you see them get it, they move really fast. They're ready in a few weeks into the program, they're ready for the job market, because some of the fundamental concepts it's easy for them to grasp. Right? Even if it's new to them, it's not complicated for them to understand versus somebody who's completely new into this. So for that kind of person, coming to our program is an advantage, because now we're showing you inside, it's fast for you. Those type of people get jobs before we finish, right? Because they know what next, and then they've already navigated a technical interview. They know how to navigate those conversations. Some people who are coming from a different career path might not have the comfort level having that conversation. With interviews, you know how a program goes. Like, how people struggle with, like, we'll have to motivate people to go start doing interviews and all of that, and we have to keep providing tools and resources and actual support. For somebody who's already in, that phase is not a concern for them. So that's the easiest tier to jump in from. Now, that doesn't say, but again, like I said, all of the majority of people we've helped are people that are not in that level. They're people who are non-technical at all, right? And so for those people, for somebody who is in this category I described, if they come and tell me now that they're purchasing an online course or something, they want to just, up their skill and go into database administration, I won't be mad at them. The place where I will say they need my help is showing them what happens on the job, right? Being able to expose what the work looks like. But gaining the skills and upping it, they don't necessarily need to come to a program like ours, right? Which, again, I'm saying this, which is bad for business, but that's the fact, right? So the place where they need me is they might not be able to talk through scenarios and case studies and issues. You will not get that from an online course, no matter how detailed it is, That's where mentorship and guidance comes in. But I won't be mad at somebody like that saying maybe they might know one or two people that are already database people and they can, have conversations plus what they're learning on, an online course, maybe LinkedIn or somewhere. That's fair enough. Another lane you can follow for somebody who is non-technical and wants to get in is, and this one I've mentored a couple of people who went this route. It's highly uncommon because a lot of factors are not up to you. But if you're already working somewhere, you can start making a not vertical, but a horizontal transition, right? Into you start with getting into the tech department in your company, right? So depending on what level you are, because you can't go from, mid-level or junior level staff doing something else to DBA, right? You're probably going to go something at your level, right? So you're probably going to start with NOC or somewhere, right? Make that horizontal transition, but that will require coordination among managers, right? Your managers be okay with you shadowing the IT group, and the IT group has to have that bandwidth to accommodate somebody coming in to maybe shadow or something. The case study I'll describe was we had a couple of guys, they were working in our NOC at one of my previous employers, and what happened was they wanted to transition, but that was their idea. But that wasn't the overall. But they told their manager that they wanted to be able to support the DBAs a little bit more. So they wanted to learn more about what we did, right? And which it was a genius idea, right? So my manager and their managers spoke, and it made sense, right? Because they were monitoring our databases after hours. So typically what they would do is they would call the on-call DBA if there was an issue. But we saw the opportunity there. Like, if these guys knew a thing or two, I think there are some very simple requests that you don't have to call for, that you might be able to handle. And then you are more proactive instead of reactive when you see things, especially off hours. And so those two gentlemen came, and I was put in charge of, being the one to handle their shadowing. They shadowed me basically, and I was, to show them our infrastructure and what, because they're internal, so there's nothing they monitor they monitor, so they had access anyway. But that ended up going, so they came and told me there are real incentives, right? And so I kind of put a little bit more time into training them. So I went beyond shadowing and showing them basic things to actually teaching them the work. They end up getting certified. But what happened was they had to leave the company. They got jobs outside, right? They got employment. The company obviously was not going to match, not for what they did, right? And you are not going to be hired as a DBA. And there was no how you're going to make more than your boss, right? Was making. So they left. But that showed me a viable path. And in fact, it was after working with them that I actually got the motivation to start N-Star, in terms of knowing that there was prospect for me with teaching and training people. So those were technically my first students ever. So that's a viable path. That's one part I've talked about. You can do online courses for people who have more. But again, the downside to this is managers are involved. You have a lot of things have to, a lot of things have to fall in place for you. If not, you're not in control, basically. Another route is you can go back to school. More expensive for sure, right? When I first started, right, I've been doing database administration now 12 years. Well, database administration, database engineering, all things database, mostly Microsoft SQL and then different platforms. But when I first started, there wasn't really specializations in database administration. You could do electives or independent study as part of your computer science or management information systems program. But now I've seen more, even master's programs that have concentration in database administration. Computer science with some concentration in database administration. So there's a part there now through education, because of how broad the technology has grown and opportunities have expanded. So there's opportunities there. And then people who want to, even or maybe generally go to the data science as a whole wider spectrum. Education is also going back to school for like a master's, or if that's something you wanted to do, If you were somebody wanted to you were going to get a master's, it was something in your goals to get done, then it's a viable path. I won't recommend this path for somebody who just master's was not in your plan, or you really didn't want to go back to school or any of that. You already have your bachelor's. School wasn't it wasn't your goals. I won't say go back to school because you want to get into this space, right? So what I recommend is, career training programs. We'll have boot camps. We call out career training programs. It's boot camp, it's cohort based, but we're not just teaching you the skill, where it's built to show you the job. So you're not just learning SQL Server you're not just going through an academic exercise. You are trained on what to expect on the job. The goal is for our students to have a seamless transition from classroom to workplace, and it doesn't feel brand new. And that's one of the things you always get when people come back and they're afraid when they get the first job, and then they're worried, they want to call you every day now, and after a month you don't hear from them because they figure out that, okay, it's not that dissimilar from class, it's the same thing. And that's how it built. So career training programs will be your fastest route because you're getting direct access to people who are already doing this, right? They're not just talking from an academic standpoint, which is relevant, right? But SQL Server from an academic standpoint is massive, right? What we do day to day versus all the concepts of SQL, it's a big gulf, right? So you don't want to, if you have to go through that gulf to get your first job, I've been in the game for how many years, and I still feel like there are still concepts that are new to me, or not new to me, but that I haven't fully explored within SQL, right? So that's how broad it is. You're going to keep learning based on the demands of your job, based on the demands of that's in front of you. So those are the different options you have in terms of transitioning. But again, it depends on where you are and how fast you want to go. But you definitely need there's definitely a route in for those people who don't have that technical background. So first group, maybe not, but everybody else, there's ways in for sure.
Okay. Would you say there are a lot of things you have to learn as you go forward being a DBA or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of information. It's not difficult, but it is tedious, right? There's information volume. So I'll tell you right now, again, think of what I said earlier. What we do is so critical to businesses, right? They pay us this much because of the value that we bring to organizations. And so you're not going to go get six figures if you don't know something valuable, right? And you're doing it, our database program is 8 to 10 weeks, right? It's a data program. So it's 10 weeks to go equip yourself to go do a job, that's a mid-level tech position, mid to senior level tech position. A lot of information is going to come to you in that time, right? The work, the practice, it's hours of practice. That's how do I catch up, right? This is how you all have to put it to yourself. How do I catch up with somebody who's been doing this for 5 years? It's by putting in 5 years of work in that 10 weeks, right? So you're not, obviously, again, that might not be realistic, but we are very strategic in the work we're giving you to do, the assignments, the homeworks, they are relevant things to build enough muscle in you to where I can speak confidently to this thing because I actually know it. I've actually done it, right? You have to do it enough to where you say, you feel confident saying I've done this because you actually have done it. And that's the difference between going to an academic experience and or being fed knowledge. That's why I'm not a fan of all of this fast track boot camps, right? Because then you go for 7 days or 5 days straight, cover what we will cover in 10 weeks. You will get the information, but will you get the opportunity to actually practice and build that resume of experience, right? So can we teach what we do in 10 days, 7 days? Yes. I could, right? I do it in my sleep. Can I ram it down full through 10 weeks to do like 8-hour classes for 7 days straight? Yes, but I'll just kill them, right? And then but they will not have, but still the volume of assignments and homeworks we do and projects we do, right? So everybody has time, you go in, and then if people have a life, they have things to do. But now you have that time, you can make out a couple of days during the week where you can just study, practice, put in hours. It's those hours that expedites your growth and your experience. And now those failures you have doing the projects, those challenges you're into, those become your examples when you're talking to an interviewer, when you're talking to people, when you're having conversations with people over the phone about what you do, and so that's our style. That's what we recommend. But yes, it is work. It is not difficult, but it is not easy as well. You have to be willing to put in the work. It is not a fast track to 100K. Unfortunately, right? We don't sell that promise. It's not a fast track to 6 figures or $1 million. We're not promising you wealth and riches, but we can give you a pathway to a decent career, a long, decent career, if you're willing to put in the work, yes.
Just for the people who are watching, what would you say is the kind of mindset that is required for someone trying to learn and trying to grow and trying to be part of this career path?
For somebody who is looking to learn, grow, be part of this, you need, I mean, kind of goes to what we were saying before, right? You have to have you need to have the mindset of a student who wants to learn. You have to be curious. You have to be voracious in your desire to consume. Right? You want to consume everything. Like the people who have done well in our programs are people who they want to read everything. They want to they want to Google everything. They want to look up everything. They're curious. Everything is, they have a level of curiosity to them. To where they want to learn. They come at you with questions. They verify what you're saying. They go back and they practice. Homework is due on Thursday. By Tuesday, they're done, and then they're hitting you with screenshots and things. That's aggressive desire to do this and do it well always helps. So having that be teachable, right? Some people forget what you know and be teachable, right? Be teachable. Just have that. Okay, I want to learn. I want to be teachable. I'm humble enough to receive information. People who have that attitude, one, you want to also help. You have that desire to help them because you can see their openness and willingness to learn. Those attitudes will help you go far. Be a hard worker. That goes to say, make time. We all have time and we all don't have time. It just comes down to what's important to you. We all have time for what's important to us and we don't have time for what's not important to us, right? If I am not able to get to it, it is not as important, right? That's just the truth. So we all have time and we all don't have time. So make this important enough to where you're willing to put in hours, right? Borrow time from somewhere, borrow time from Netflix, borrow time from sleep, borrow time from hanging out, borrow time from phone calls, and be willing to put it into this, and you will get that time back in the future. So that's, be willing to make the sacrifices relevant to, it's not difficult, but it's also not easy. It's tedious. Tedious is what I like, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's not, if you put in the time, you will get it. If you put in the time, you will understand it. The concepts are easy. We're the best when it comes to breaking it down and training, making people get it. But if you don't do the work, no matter how great we are in our delivery, we can't help you. We can't help you. If you don't do the work outside of class, whatever we do in class is not going to help you. So just coming with a plan, a strategy on how you will attack every day in terms of doing the work. If you have a plan to attack every day, you'll find success doing this.
Okay, let's go to the kind of sectors. So what sectors, what kind of companies can a DBA work in?
Everywhere. So like we said, everybody uses data, right? Every organization. And what I say is, if you go on our website, you see we have like a sample size of where our alumni work. We have Coca-Cola, we have Old Castle. Old Castle is manufacturing. We have Site One. Site One is landscaping, right? We have True Green. We have people working in Northside. We have people working in Bank of America. We have people working in, if you look at my resume, it's beautiful, right? There's Verizon, and then there's Newport Media. One is a real estate media company, one is Verizon, right? I've worked with HP, and I've also worked with Newport, and I've worked with Access Insurance. Like, so it's a rich tapestry of organizations that we've seen people working. And that's because everybody uses data. Everybody needs a database person, right? Organizations that don't hire database administrators, most likely because of their size, they've not come to the point where they're not dealing with the data volume to where, volume of data to where they require somebody full time. They might not be at the place where budget-wise it's realistic for them. But even those kind of companies that are doing it somehow, they're using Excel, they're using Access, right? They probably have somebody who's proficient in those things that's managing. There's probably an office admin person who is also, doesn't have a title, obviously, but doing database administration for them. But at some point, they will need to bring in tools because they're dealing with more money, more volume. That's where you hire a DBA, right? So there's opportunities everywhere, because again, every business is reliant on the data, on their data. And so it's not industry specific. Right? You don't have to work in tech. You don't have to work in Verizon or HP or a tech company. It can be a bank. Banks are one of our biggest employers, right? It can be manufacturing. It can be just anything. The government. There's a lot of government contracts. They will hire, database administrators to come on to work on government sites, doing different things. So, utility companies, I've been in that one too, right? So it's a wide range of opportunities, and that's a beautiful thing. Is you get to see just different a whole range of opportunity in different organizations. So yeah, that's the fun of this. You're not limited to one lane. There's opportunities everywhere.
Okay. And someone that looking in coming to be a database administrator, what other career paths can they look forward to?
So once you get in, so database administration is like a pathway to different. It's almost like it's like a funnel, and then it can go anywhere depending on opportunities that come your way. I've had a lot of people come. I have one of my good friends who was a student. Now he's like a senior software architect, right? With a company where he works. There's different. A lot of them have gone different routes. Still some data relationship, but they've evolved. As you continue to grow, your skill set expand, your career can go anywhere. You can, go into, you can become like in that architect lane, where now because of the expertise you have, you're more in the design side of things. You're more into the concepts. You're working with product owners, talking to the organizations. Okay, they want a solution. You are the one who will now say, these are the requirements we need on the database side to implement this, right? You can go into that database engineering lane where you're merging some data warehousing and reporting with administration. In that lane, you can become a cloud engineer, right? Where you're doing, again, you're taking your database skills to the cloud, basically. There's parts for you to get into, ETL design, data warehousing, reporting. If you want to go that reporting route, again, maybe that database engineering, DevOps, opportunities exist. You can go into there's a part to leadership there for people who want to maybe do like a project management certification, become like a manager, and go that leadership route where they are, technical leadership roles. You're technical enough, you have the technical proficiency to lead a technical team, can speak their language, but you now equip yourself with the business knowledge and business project management skills to also have conversations with, the higher ups, the business folks. So there's different, depending on where you want your career to go or where it takes you, there's so many lanes this can open up to you.
Okay. So that'll be all for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Anything you'd like to say for the listeners?
Yeah. So again, if you are if you're on the fence about is this a path for me? I hope this kind of has gotten you off the fence. But we'll be glad to answer any additional questions. There should be some links in the description when this is posted to book a call to chat with us or send us a message, comment. We'll love to hear from you. And if you're considering this career path, then definitely talk to us. We've helped so many people get into it, so we'd love to have you as our next success story. But whatever it is, just keep working at your goals.